Rivier this morning. We are a Catholic private college offering more than 60 academic degree programs to undergraduate day, evening, and graduate students. We were founded in 1933 by the Sisters of the Presentation of Mary, and we've been dedicated to educating our students in an environment that transforms hearts and minds to serve the world for more than 75 years. We consider the business community to be an essential partner as we strive to provide the highest quality academic programs and resources. We have a variety of opportunities to partner with you, and I invite you to take a look at the flyer in your folder for our President's Circle initiative. You'll find information on our Strategic Partner Program, which seeks to provide innovative certificate and degree programs for workforce professionals. You'll also find information on opportunities to utilize a Rivier student intern in your organization. And if you have interest in either of those two areas, we look forward to talking with you more following this event. So we've invited a student to join us today. His name is Geoffrey Farina. He lives in Salem, New Hampshire. He graduated from our business program in 2010 and is currently an MBA student. And I'd like to invite Geoffrey to join me here at the podium.
So not to date anyone here, but 6 years ago I was a junior in high school, and I really did not intend or have any interest in going to college. I was actually going to join a trade. My parents wanted me to tour some schools, so just to make them happy, I decided to tour some colleges, toured a handful of colleges in New Hampshire. The high school I went to was Pinkerton Academy, very, very big school, 40, 45 students per class. I did well in school, but I was never challenged. I was never very interested because I was never challenged. Now, those schools that I toured, for the most part, same idea. But when I came to Rivier, they said that it was a very small class size, 25 to 20 students per class. They also told me about the professors who have real-world experience, and that really went the distance, and that's one of the reasons why I chose to come here.
Geoffrey, thank you for joining us and sharing that this morning. Geoffrey is just one example of a Rivier student who gained employment skills through an internship and turned that into a career. So we're very proud of Geoffrey and all of our students. Our President's Circle was created and is led by a dynamic group of business leaders. And to introduce those committee members, as well as our special guests in the room today, I'd like to invite our chair of the President's Circle Committee. He's Mr. Paul Clark. He's President and CEO of Clark & Levy Benefit Solutions, and he's National Chairman of the Benefits Advisors Network.
First off, welcome to Morning Law. We appreciate the time that you've taken out of your schedules. We know you have absolutely nothing to do and you sit around just twiddling your thumbs, and we do want to extend our appreciation for you coming to the next installment of the Rivier President's Circle Committee meetings. Pat Hughes, who I have actually had the privilege of working for in a previous life at Blue Cross Blue Shield, is the President and CEO of Fallon Community Health Plan since February of 2010. He joined Fallon in 2007 as the Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing and Sales Officer. He was a 10-year veteran of the NFL, and again playing for the New York Giants, which again, I'm going to try to rib him a little bit there, and also a time at the New Orleans Saints. Before joining Fallon, he was the Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest speaker today, Patrick Hughes.
I'm pleased to be here this morning. It's not often I get a chance to be in New Hampshire. I'm a resident, have been since 1981 when I lived up in the White Mountains in the North Conway area, and I currently live now over in the seacoast in Stratham. So it's fun to be back in New Hampshire. I usually just commute to and fro. My wife would want me to pass on some information before I start, and that she says there are two problems when I speak that she has with my ability to speak. She said, you constantly lose your place. And I said, well, what's the other? She said, you find it. So, innovation and agility in the age of regulation. Sister Paula said that healthcare is a full contact sport. I'd like to change the title. Healthcare is a full contact sport. So I'm the President and CEO of Fallon Community Health Plan, have been for the past 14 months, and I want to share with you this morning some of the things that we encountered as a company over the first year of my involvement with Fallon as the CEO. We kind of label it the perfect storm, with a number of external and internal factors all coming together at the same time in the same place. And Kate has an acronym that she uses, and it's called SWIPE, in terms of the processes that they go through. And I said, what does SWIPE mean? She said, steal with integrity, passion, and enthusiasm. So if it sounds good and you want to use it, use it. Under the heading of lessons learned, right, there are 4 things: reflection, aggression, linebacker, celebration, communication, reflection. I love the word. The dictionary says reflection is to think seriously about what's transpired. In the NFL, we used to watch game films. It was the most painful part of that process. Playing the game was not painful. Watching the films on Monday in a darkened room and a black and white projector, and a coach playing the play back and forth and back and forth. The record is 64 times. One play was played back and forth 64 times. Just when you thought they were going to go by you, they'd come back and say, Hughes. But I learned to love those sessions, because not only did it help me get good at the things I wasn't doing very well, but it helped me improve even the things that I was doing well, to improve my technique, to improve my approach to things, to improve how I disguised blitzes and other things like that. We look back at Fallon Community Health Plan on our performance metrics, business processes, improvements, decisions that we've made, good decisions and not so good decisions, and the relevant performance-based initiatives that we have out there. We want to learn and get better. We look back on the good things because we could have done good better, and we look back on the not so good because we can make that better, always make that better. Churchill said that the farther back you look, the further forward you go. I believe that's true. Aggression, the art of attacking. We advanced our strategic planning initiative against the wishes of our senior team and a lot of other folks in the organization, saying we needed to do this because we need to look to tomorrow, because that's where we're going. And then we went to market with the approved rates. The only health insurance company in the Commonwealth that went to market with its improved rates, with its approved rates. Celebration, that's an easy one. Celebrate the victories, the big ones and the little ones. And find any excuse you can to celebrate, because it's critically important. And people just want to know that they're doing good, and that's a way to help them understand that they're doing good. We celebrated the August 6th decision of winning the appeal. We celebrated the NCQA rankings, and it was incredibly liberating. And then last but not least, and this goes to Chris and her world and what she does on behalf of Fallon Community Health Plan, is communication. Throughout this siege, and it was a siege, we communicated on a weekly basis with all of our constituencies, our internal constituencies, our external, including our customers, our brokers, our board. If real estate is location, 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 then crisis management is communication, communication, communication. You cannot ever communicate enough or too much. People need information. Otherwise, they begin to draw their own conclusions about where things are and what's happening. If you keep information from them, they are not a part of the solution. They become a part of the problem. In closing, I'll make 2 observations. One thought on competition. In my world, we don't compete against other people. Folks always say, you know, we're a $1.2 billion company. We've got 220,000 customers. We compete against Blue Cross, 3 million members, $8 billion in revenue. Harvard is a large company. Tufts is a large company. I don't think about them. I don't compete against them. Competition for me is how good can we be as a company? How good can I be as a CEO, as a leader? And I don't look at other people and compare myself. Because if you're honest, you look over here and say, I own them. And then you got to look over here. And then you see a group say, oh, I can't compete there. It brings you right back to home, right? Right back to home. And home is how good can we be. And so we constantly challenge ourselves about how good we can be. And then the last thing, you know, I think this kind of just goes to everything. leadership. In my world, leadership is an art. It's not a science. You get some stuff out of the books and what have you, but you learn it from being there with the organization, with your folks, with your team. It's also a belief. If you do not believe in the values and the vision of your company, you do not believe that, intuitively believe that, then you're not going to be an effective leader. And then last but not least, leadership is a condition of the heart. If you do not have passion for what it is you are doing, then you are using valuable time, a resource that diminishes. Condition of the heart. It's interesting. I heard this story from one of our folks the other day. I guess there was somebody was listing who were the greatest leaders of all time, and be surprised who topped the list. The person who topped that list was Mother Teresa. She was disruptive, transformative, and risk-taking. They tell the story that in Calcutta one day she took a grocery cart and she went and shopped, filled several grocery carts, and then went to the checkout counter with no money and stood there. And stood there. And stood there. And then somebody came along and paid for the groceries.